So today I'm gonna analyze a game and show you this game by William Winter against Jose Raul Capablanca. Jose Raul Capablanca is playing with the black pieces against William Winter with the white pieces. So start the game. E4, E5, knight to F3, and knight to C6. This is known as a king's knight variation, and most of the games will either go for bishop to C4, bishop to B5, and D4. But instead of that, we get this move, knight to c3, and it looks like a 3 knights now. After that, we get knight to f6, which is the 4 knights. And here we get the Spanish variation of the 4 knights game. And after the Spanish variation, we get this move, bishop to b4. And we just have a symmetrical position. After castles, castles still stays symmetrical. So we get bishop takes c6, and d takes c6. And now the move, d3. Simply defending the pawn and threatening takes. After that, we just move bishop to d6 and simply holding pawn. And now bishop to g5 is played. The idea of bishop to g5 is to just pin the knight. And after something like h6, which was played in the game, I'll go for bishop to h4, which is also played in the game. And if you go g5, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna exploit that in my own attack. But here, Capablanca plays c5. Now c5 does prevent d4 pushes, but immediately allows for knight to d5 and knight to b5. Now after c5, knight to d5 is played, and here we get this move g5, a key move. Now this is a very nice move. It looks crazy, right? Because you're pushing your pawns, even though you're castled on that same side of the board. Definitely getting attacked, right? But if you try something like knight takes g5, with an idea after h takes, bishop takes, you have immense pressure here. I will counter back with the brilliant move of knight takes d5. And this knight's actually in a pin. And you can't play this tactic here with an idea to take the rook next move, because after takes and takes, you evaluate the position carefully. After takes, I have the bishop here against one rook, and I'm gonna attack you. So this is not looking too good. Maybe some e4 push in the future. So instead of that, we get knight takes f6, queen takes f6, and now this move bishop to g3. Bishop to g3 with an idea to put pressure on his pawn maybe. And here you need to pause the video for a key moment in the game. So if you did that, the move is bishop to g4. Key move here. The idea, it looks like I'm giving up my bishop advantage, right? But it has an idea. The idea is, let's say a3 is played, takes, and look at this. You have 3 isolated pawns. But not only that, if you look at this bishop carefully, it can't play in the game. Now, this is similar to what happens in the game with takes. The difference is the queens are traded, so there's no attack. But the bishop still sucks. Like, the only way to activate this bishop is to prepare a pawn sacrifice. After something like king to g2, bishop to h2, bishop to g1, f4, and then and then f3, and then suddenly your bishop gets active. But that takes way too long. And by the time that happens, black will just be up a pawn and will be better. f6 is played. And now, we get this move, f6. Let me just explain the idea of f6. F6 has an idea of going to e6 for the king. And on e6, it will try to maybe support the push of f5. And then take with the king. Try to go here once this bishop is gone, I guess. King to g2 is played. And now, we get an interesting idea by Capablanca with a5. Now, the idea of a5 is to simply go for a4 and b5. And you're going to make an expansion on the queen side, maybe after a3. And then this pawn has to go. And then you'll be strong on the queen side. Meanwhile, this bishop here is garbage. And even if you do get h4, I will not take. Instead, I will leave the tension and allow you to take Yeah, sure, you get an open H file, but his bishop still sucks and can't move. A4 is played to prevent the b5, but now we get king to f7, an idea to go for e6 square. Rook to h1 is played, setting up h4, and here we get king to e6. h4 is played, and now rook fb8. Rook fb8 simply prepares this. I might say, after takes, they get the open h file, right? But it's useless. Because even though, yeah, you get the 7th rank and crap, I just go b5. I say, takes. Suddenly, that pawn's hanging, and after this, I will simply go here and threat and moves like this. Or this, even. The sacrifice after these two pawns of this exchange, maybe. Well, it's not really sacrifice. But, maybe after a4, maybe go c4 next. Instead of that, we get takes. Instead of rook to h7, we get b3. So, if ever the b file gets opened, there's no attack here. c6 is played with an idea to support this. And now, rook to a2 with an idea to double up on the a file after b5, which is played in the game. Now, after this, Capablanca was prepared to see this. Because he was going to play another brilliant move of c5. It's a brilliant move here. It's a pawn sacrifice. Temporary. Okay, so, let's say you take. It doesn't matter which pawn you take with. You take the c pawn. I now go for rook to b4. And suddenly, no one can save this pawn. And after that, I'll have immense pressure here. And I'm going to double up on this file here. And then on this rank. And a lot of things will be hanging. And with the help of this bishop, you're going to win the game. But their bishop is just not good at all. So that we get the other pawn of a takes. And before taking here, you have to take first. So now, they have this weak pawn structure. And here, William simply sacrifices the pawn so that if the rook takes b3, this is a pawn sacrifice because you can't take here. Because then I'll just take, and then just take. And after this position, well, I have a passed pawn, and I'm up a pawn, and this bishop will never play in the game. So, the idea of this move was to simply go d4 to finally try and trade off these bishops, because his bishop is terrible. But, Capablanca is not going to take that, and instead play the move rook to b5. Rook b5 also defends his pawn, and also after takes, now the bishop still sucks after pawn takes. So, after that, we can just move rook to c4, which is a mistake, because Capablanca simply plays rook to b4. Now, let's start with rook takes. We're simply going to take with the bishop. So after pawn takes, we have two passed pawns against white's zero passed pawns, and this bishop will never be active in the game. So, this is an easy win. And after rook takes c6, now just go rook takes d4. And here, William simply resigns. It's a nice game by Capablanca. The main takeaway from this game is definitely when he played g5. A nice move here. And then shortly after that, playing bishop to g4. These two moves. Not only that, and then this bishop just sucking the whole game. So just a nice game by Capablanca. And, but